Hi everyone and welcome back to our learning journey. So for today, we're going to discuss a new topic where we're going to share to you the continual process improvement principles and essential concepts. So then again, ako po si Rita, an industrial engineer and a research, innovation, and technology advocate. So like usual, this is our disclaimer. So still, COVID-19 is an emerging and rapidly evolving situation. So I encourage each and everyone to still rely or visit these credible websites for most updated information, especially in our country from DOH and then from other international sources. We can refer to World Health Organization and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So let's start. So, for today's sharing session, this is the outline of what I'm going to share to you. And then again, this is just a mini industrial research and nothing is casted into stone yet. So, which means that I am open to suggestions, recommendations, and inputs from you guys because of our situation and it will be really helpful if you can provide feedback on how we can improve our industrial research. So, without further ado, let's start. So, at the end of this sharing session, this is what we're going to tackle. First, we're going to review the three main continual process improvement principles like Kaizen, Lean Six Sigma, which are Kaizen, Lean Six Sigma, and PDCA. Then that will be followed by our total quality management concepts, which are quality systems, quality tools, quality improvement, quality control, and last but not the least, benchmarking. So we have a total of 5 TQM concepts to explore and why is it relevant to our pandemic management. Okay, like usual, whenever I do this sharing session, I always want to get an example of quotes about quality. So for today, this is an example quote. So in here, according to Walter Diber, right, there is no such a thing as a perfect method. Methods always can be improved upon. Okay, so for our situation right now, um, it's really hard to tell who will be or who can be an expert in this situation. Number one, because this is a new virus and it is very unusual for our country to experience this kind of crisis because we are used to experiencing disaster, calamity related disasters, and alike, right? But at the end of the day, we can always improve our methods, our processes, and our concepts. But I think the most important thing is that we know where to start, right? Now, so let's start first, baby steps, establish simple processes, establish simple analogy, and then from there we can identify rooms for improvements. So, review lang po. So, last week, ito yung diniscuss natin. So, kung maaalala nyo, we discussed the input, process, output model. At syempre, nag-deep dive tayo sa model na ito. Okay? Okay, so we still have our inputs and then our process, which consists of process control, the mega processes, and the process enablers. And then this will lead you to your desired outputs, of which our initial ultimate goals is to control the spread of the virus, minimize serious illnesses, minimize overall deaths, maximize recoveries. Very important, very specific, at a minimal social and economic impact as much as possible. And then at the end of our sharing session, we do hope on how we can prepare during post-peak and post-pandemic. At this point in time, nobody can really tell if we are in the stage of post-peak because at this point of in time, we don't have the vaccine yet. So, wala pa pong bakuna, wala pa pong immunization. So, kung bababa man ang bilang, wala pa pong makaka-assure na hindi po ito ulit tataas sa most highest recorded daily rate or ma-flatten yung curve. So, pero, syempre, with this analogy of a continual process improvement where we are using the analogy of a wheel, right? Wheel because we need to continuously improve our processes, our approach because pandemic management, especially for our COVID-19 situation, is a battle of cause and effect. Okay, so virus behavior is equivalent to community behavior, and it is equivalent on how we will manage our community activities, how we are going to regulate. Okay, so this is our total quality management concepts. So earlier, this wheel analogy or wheel model, right? We're going to discuss embedded or root processes behind it. So, ngayon po magdi-deep dive pa po tayo dito sa total quality management kasi medyo generic or overview approach lang ito. Excuse me. So, kung titingnan natin ito, yan, let's zoom in into this process, right? So, ano po yung mga TQM concepts na pwede nating i-adopt, okay, to support our continual process improvement, right? So you can visit credible resources or sources online from American Society of Quality to verify that these are quality management concepts. Okay, so in this wheel, so ano ba yung mga quality concepts na pwede nating i-introduce sa ating proseso o pwede nating i-adopt, okay, para maumpisahan natin itong ating improvement, right? So, nandito yan. So, meron tayong total of 5 TQM concepts that we can use concurrently or one at a time. So, whenever that you have source of problem, i-evaluate mo ngayon kung anong total quality management concept ang applicable doon sa problem mo para ma-achieve mo yung desired output, right? So, say for example, educating the public with regards to proper hand washing. Kasi yung ating example from our input process output discussion, right? So, ngayon, how confident we are that every citizens, okay, or every citizens are aware of proper hand washing, okay? So, lahat ba, alam ba nila kung paano ang tamang paghugas ng kamay at lahat po ba ay mayroong access sa malinis na tubig at sabon? Okay, or disinfecting soap. So, kung hindi po, pwede po iyon ang ating problem statement. And then, syempre, ipapasok natin yan sa ating mega processes, right? And then, lalagyan natin yung process control. Okay, ide-delegate natin kung sino yung dapat na governing body ang dapat na mag-ensure o mag-supervise at make sure na may implement po ito ng maayos. And syempre, i-evaluate po natin ang ating kapasidad para ma-implement po ito. So, balik tayo sa ating example. Example po ay problem statement or ang challenge na dapat maging aware at least 90% of Filipinos on how to do proper hand washing for 20 seconds and to evaluate if they do have access to clean water and disinfecting soap. Right? So ngayon, idadaan natin to sa ating wheel, the wheel of process. or the wheel of TQM Concepts, pipili po tayo ngayon ng kung anong gear ang pwede nating gamitin. Okay? Then again, you can have 1, 2, 3, or 5 processes that you can use concurrently depending on your problem statement. So, then again, example po natin, it's like at least 90% of Filipinos are aware how to do proper hand washing. Kasi yan po yung pinaka uh, weapon natin, no, to deter, delay the spread of the virus. Kasi madali pong mag-disintegrate ang virus, itong COVID-19 virus, upon hand washing. Right? So, yan, mag-example po tayo. So, mabilisan lang po ang ating TQM concepts consists of quality systems, quality tools, quality improvement, quality control, and benchmarking, which we will discuss more details shortly. So then again, example, right? Yun yung challenge ko, hand washing. To ensure that 90% of Filipinos are aware of hand washing, if I will use or adopt a benchmarking concept, right? Okay, how are we going to adopt best and effective practices locally, okay, and internationally? So say for example, yun nga yung challenge na hand washing for 20 seconds and paano nga po ito effectively na magagawa? Madali lang po yan. Ang pinakamadaling gawin ay mag-benchmark. So, mag-benchmark, i-compare po natin ang practices. Okay, kasi standard practice naman na po ito. So, napakasimple lang po ng example natin. Pwede lang tayo agad-agad na mag-refer sa World Health Organization or sa DOH para ma-adapt po kung ano yung best practices nila doon. Nakadocument po yan. Ayan. At pwede nating i-adapt ito sa ating mga nasasakupan, barangay level or local government unit level. Let's test! So, yun yung benchmarking to ensure that 90% of Filipinos are aware of proper hand washing for 20 seconds. Next is that talking about the same example, quality systems. So, meron bang nakadocument na SOP? Or process flow ng step-by-step ng example natin na yon ng hand washing. Okay, quality tools, pwede pa natin to magamitan ng mga diagram or charts. So say for example, 90% of Filipinos, paano natin mai-represent yan into charts and diagrams? Say for example, comparing the actual statistics of Filipinos who are aware of proper hand washing versus those that are not. So we can compare that, right? And then what tools do we need to use to represent our data, of which we're going to discuss more information in a later part of our sharing session. Yan. Sa mga darating na topics, mako-cover po natin yan. Okay? Then, next is quality improvement. Right? So, kung yung iba, alam lang nila maghugas ng kamay. So, hindi nila alam na for 20 seconds pala, di ba, diyan na papasok yung ating quality improvement. Kung hindi ka satisfied sa paghuhugas ng kamay, ano pa yung pwede mong gawin para ma-improve mo yung quality ng iyong process, ng iyong methodology of hand washing, or baka pwede mo naman ma-improve yung mga tools or mga ginagamit na equipment. So, say for example, sa ating mga barangay, ang hirap ng access, sa ating mga kababayan na nakatira sa dense area in Metro Manila, kalimitan ay hindi po 100% may access sa malinis na tubig. So if you want to improve the quality of hand washing in those areas, what do you need to do? Right? So, kailangan bang maglagay ka ng mga portable sink or portable hand washing kiosk or portable hand washing sink, right? So, ito po yung mga example kung paano natin may improve ang kalidad ng ating methodology or processes. Yan. So, i-discuss natin paano natin gagawin yan. Next is quality control. So katulad ng nasabi ko earlier, yung gusto mong i-achieve ay 90% of Filipinos. And if we have a total 100 million population, 90% of that is 90 million. So, paano mo ngayon may ensure na na-achieve mo na yung 90% mo over time? So, that will be measured using charts, graphs, and statistical data. So, example lang po itong mga dinidiscuss natin. So, can you imagine that with a simple method of proper hand washing? We can really apply total quality management concepts, right? So then this is a challenge for a fellow researcher or a fellow Filipino citizen. If you are familiar with the TQM concepts, please let me know if you have additional information that we can introduce into our model, right? Then again, this analogy will use the concept of a wheel. Yan, wheel kasi continuous ang pagbabago, ang pag-improve, gawa ng method, improve na naman, hindi mo na-achieve yung target mo, improve ka ulit hanggang sa ma-flatten natin ang curve at hanggang sa marating natin yung post-pandemic natin, post-pandemic. Yan. So, kung babalikan po natin, right? So, wheel analogy yan dahil hanggang sa hindi pa po nadi-discover ang vaccine sa isang virus or disease sa ating pandemic, ay tuloy-tuloy po yung process po natin, input, process, output, and then using the analogy of the wheel and adoption of this TQM concepts, ay syempre, mafa-flatten natin ang ating curve. So, in this case, ginamitan naman po natin ito ng analogy of a slide. So, this is our slide model. So, ito na po natalakay natin ito sa ating part 2, right, of our discussion. Okay, so it is too early to say if we are reaching our post-pandemic because we don't have the vaccine yet. So until that the cure or the vaccine for COVID-19 is out, so we have to observe our curve carefully. But rest assured that if we are implementing stringent measures and protection measures and controls, rest assured that we won't hit that same daily new cases. And then again, if ever that we will have a possible surge, that is because it might be due to unforeseen circumstances. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so in details, these are the TQM concepts that I am proposing. Okay, for our pandemic management. Earlier, ang example nga natin ay yung proper hand washing for 20 seconds and to ensure that 90% of Filipinos are aware how to do so. Okay, at na-test na nga po natin na lahat ng ating identified TQM concepts ay usable. Ayan. So let's go through one by one, right? So if we will remember from our model, we have these 3 arrows of which these are the 3 main continuous improvement principles that we can adopt. So first is our KAIZEN model. Next is our Lean Six Sigma model, of which it's a combination of Lean and Six Sigma. Okay? First is our Kaizen principle as one of our major continuous improvement principle that or problem solving principle that we can adopt as part of our major process in problem solving. Next, we can use a Lean Six Sigma principle for our quality improvement or process improvement activity. And then last is a plan, do, check, and act. So we can use this principle if we are in a rush or we only have limited time to carry out analysis into our problem and if we want to execute it in an earliest time, right? So inside we have the core, which is the core of our total quality management, and there will be my proposed concepts that will support this core. And so yung support system, okay? TQM concepts that will act as a support system to our total quality management model, okay? In a very systematic way. First is quality systems. So, ano ba itong quality systems, alright? So, quality systems is a concept where it involves work instructions, procedures, SOP, and documented process flow. Like in our example, proper hand washing, and for us to execute that well, we need to ensure that there are documented SOP and process flow, of which it is available. So makikita natin yung mga videos, how to do proper hand washing, and then posters. Right? And then if we want to be specific, right, we can have a formal SOP of that one. So, napakasimple lang ng example natin, yung proper hand washing, right? But in future, we're going to have complex challenges or complex problem statements where we need complex solutions as well. So, ito, yung sa quality system sa ating pandemic management, we can explore the implementation of ISO 9001:2015 and other quality management systems standards. A national strategy and plan is considered as part of quality systems as well. So, kailangan po nakadocument yung strategiya ng gobyerno or ng management sa pagpapatupad ng ating pandemic management. Ano ba yung food security, water security, peace and order, and how are we going to recover from our pandemic crisis. Next is ang risk management. And lastly is our pandemic management. Sorry, may management dyan. Medyo nakrap lang. Okay, so for risk management, we will immediately discuss this because this is very important. Okay, how our risk management assessment will give you your risk level, okay, your vulnerability level. And for you to claim if you need to declare community quarantine according to its level, right? So, risk management assessment and risk management plan is a very good quality systems tool that LGUs can adopt. Okay, so of which we will discuss more details in our upcoming sharing session. Next is our quality tools. Yan. So, in industrial engineering or for quality management practitioners and professionals, right? We have the 7 old quality tools and 7 new quality tools. So, hindi po ito yung mga martilyo, screwdriver, yan, mga ganong tools, right? Okay, llave de tubo, hindi. So, these are quality tools that will help us to organize and set in orders pool of ideas. Okay? Data. Ano pa pwede natin i-organize? Information. Yeah? Inputs, processes, outputs. Right? So, how can we adopt quality tools for us to be able to organize and set it in order? So, of which we're going to discuss more information later on. And then the third TQM concept that we can adopt is our quality improvement. So, katulad nga doon sa quote na shinare ko po kanina, no? Methods can always be improved, right? So, pero without establishing your first method, medyo mahirapan tayo ma-improve. Okay? So, kailangan i-standardize po muna natin. Let's establish the process and then eventually, let's improve. Okay? How we can sustain the process or methodology or how we can improve. Paano natin ito magagawa? Using the new concept of Lean Six Sigma. Yes po, maririnig niyo po yan at matututunan niyo po yan in our upcoming sharing session. At syempre, ang ating, we are going to have academic partners and industry partners to talk about Lean Six Sigma para naman po validated yung mga information na i-share ko po sa inyo. Next, kung mapapansin niyo po, may Lean Six Sigma dito sa ating Continual Process Improvement at meron din po dito sa ating TQM Concepts, right? Yes, because in everything that you do, you can always improve. So, meron kasi tayong major process or major method and meron po tayong specific. Okay? And in every method, processes, you can always improve. So, Lean Six Sigma is always applicable. Okay? So, matututunan nyo mo yan at maiintindihan nyo yan eventually. Okay? As we progress in our sharing session. Okay? Next is quality control. Okay? So, pag na-establish mo na ang iyong standard at kapag syempre na-organize mo na yung mga thoughts and ideas and your data and during the journey, you are improving or you have improved and you're happy with the outcome, now you want to check if you were able to achieve your target or your outcome, right? So we can use that or we can do that using the quality control concept. Okay, what we are going to achieve with this concept so we can be able to find out the value and metrics, okay, to measure our performances. And then how we will use charts, graphs, and statistical data. So statistical process control and probability and statistics plays it's a significant part here in our discussion. Next is benchmarking. Sorry, this is last benchmarking. So when I designed this analogy, the wheel analogy eventually, so yung nakita kong wheel, 5 yung paa niya, yung pinaka-support niya, no? Okay, pero ang una kong naisip na relevant concepts sa ating pandemic management ay 4 lang. Okay? So where benchmarking is a concept which will save us a lot of time. Okay, benchmarking po. So, minsan meron tayong mga interview na nakikita sa TV at sa radyo na kung saan pwede po nating kopyahin, okay, kopyahin yung mga practices na ginagawa sa ibang bansa o sa ibang lugar, 'di ba? So, ang industry term po diyan na pinakamalapit ay ang benchmarking. Ano yung magagawa natin diyan? Comparison, right? And paano po natin 'to magagawa? Paano ba natin ma-adopt ang best at effective practices, okay, mula sa ibang resources or ibang sources locally and internationally. So say for example, babalik po tayo sa example natin na hand washing. Paano ba kaepektibo ang hand washing na ginagawa sa Iloilo? Okay, meron pa silang ibang pamamaraan ng hand washing lalo na sa mga lugar na mahirap ang access na ng sabon at tubig. Yan, 'di ba? Pero meron po tayo ditong we have to be cautious, no? Kailangan nating mag-ingat kasi hindi na lahat na nakikita nating epektibo sa ibang lugar, okay, locally or internationally, ay magiging epektibo sa iyong sariling sitwasyon. Kaya nga lahat po dito ay subjective. So we leave it open. Kailangan pa rin po natin masusing maunawaan kung ano po yung pinaka-relevant, pinakamalapit, okay, na proseso na pwede mong i-adapt sa iyong sistema. So, yan nga po ang ating 5 TQM concepts. At for our future sharing session, iisa-isahin na po natin yan. At syempre, meron po tayong case study at for specific problem statement. Diba? So mula sa KAIZEN, Lean Six Sigma, PDCA, down to quality systems, quality tools, quality improvement, quality control, and benchmarking. So as we progresses in our sharing session, I encourage everyone to send or you can comment identified challenges during our pandemic crisis para yun po yung pwede nating magamit ng mga case study or examples. Okay, para hindi lang hand washing yung lagi nating example. Pero syempre, nag-abang din po ako ng mga problem identified most prominent problem, yun yung tatargetin natin kung ano yung most prominent na problema kung saan marami yung apektado. Okay? Then again, ang ating references, I have the book of Quality Toolbox, second edition, where I get the terminologies and the ideas of the concepts. Definition of terms from Wikipedia and quality information and terminologies from American Society for Quality and photo credits from Google and Canva. Muli, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras at panahon. Stay safe, take care, and we plan and control as one. God bless! Bye!